In the beginning there was
In the
nothing.
beginning, there was nothing.
All was darkness.
All was
Say.
darkness.
All was
Say.
darkness.
There was nothing at all.
There was nothing
Only
at
the
all.
mother.
There was nothing at
Only
all.
the mother.
Only the mother.
She was a Luna.
She
was
a
pure
Luna.
thought without
She
form.
was pure thought.
She began to
without
think.
form.
She began to think.
The mother conceived the world in the darkness.
The mother conceived the world in the
The mother
darkness.
conceived the world in the darkness.
She conceived us as ideas,
conceived us as
as we
ideas.
think out a
Conceived us as
house
ideas.
before we begin to make it
As we
real.
think out a house before we begin to make it real.
She spun the thread,
She spun the thread,
spinning us all in the
spinning us all in the story,
creating us
creating us in thought.
Creating us in thought. And then came the light,
And
and
then
the world was real.
came
And then
light,
came the light,
and the world
and the world was real.
I first met Shibalata when he was 50. I was 48. He's 70 now. Around 20,000 Kogi live here, the heartland. They have no wheel, no writing, and do not welcome strangers. They believe their job is to take care of the world. Shibalata is called a mama. It means enlightened. He's training his daughter, who uses the name Francisca. The mamas said they wanted to work with me because the world is sick and dying, and we have to understand that. They decided to abandon centuries of caution and warn us. I came to the Sierra Nevada in 1988. Alan Herrera, working for the BBC. The Mummers said they wanted to send out a message.
I'm here. We all are here to give a warning.
The animals die, the trees dry up, people become ill. Many new illnesses will appear. There will be no cure or medicine for them.
They say that we mutilate the world because we do not remember the Great Mother.
That unless we do something, the world is coming to an end.
He has destroyed so much. Does he see? No. Understand? No. Start to understand, or what will happen? Right, that's it.
Then they waited, watched, and listened to nature.
A major earthquake hit Japan Friday afternoon, causing widespread devastation.
Predicts searing droughts, epic floods.
ماشي تقبع أزواج مش تقبع ده هنقق أبزق نيوي طب شغل يوبا أنا قاعد نيوي سينز واسينز نعم أقهي هنا دوزي هناني أبي أخشى نقهناني هي تابع خنيه أجيسة للانجويز خنقنا هي نونيه أجيسة للانجويز خنقنا كوجوان في خنقا
شنا نالجن هاي سيجوي يسوما قوتشا شنا نالجن هاي صحيحة نيبوي
هي خاتنا ما نغنا وتيجي ناس تون قوتشا ناس خاتو تيجي غني ميل هذا صحيح هاي فرنسي أخي شو كايبا يقعدين كنا نقول Ai parecer em terra jucaiaga e quadringa na gulita.
I'd stayed in touch for 20 years, but not been summoned before. In the meantime, I'd retired. I had no BBC helicopter, and a coggy had learned to use a camera. They wanted to show our scientists the way nature interconnects, so together we constructed a plan.
Hello?
Oh, hello. This is Alan Herrera.
Yes, hello there.
I'm phoning to confirm our order for thread.
Right, okay. Where would you want it delivered to?
This is something I need to discuss with the Indians. There is a real possibility that they may come to you to collect it.
call this the civilized world. It's a sort of joke. Here they have no address, no documents, no identity. They speak no Spanish, have no signatures. For them, shoes would break the connection between humans and the earth. Without shoes, you're not allowed to board a plane.
I think we're going to need 400 kilometers of gold thread.
400 kilometers, yes, okay, fair enough. Is that a fairly precise amount?
There's no way of being really precise about it, is there? I think the question is, how long is a piece of string?
Do come through and let me show you the machine that's made this gold thread, which I've made for you here. Now the thread is made by pushing a core yarn through a pipe here, and the wire laps around it, and it runs onto a reel at the bottom here.
Haba, Guchak, Kasak, and she, Kalbashanga, had the Zangwanga, had the Shukuanga, Nibun Kajani, Shibaksak Shagunanani, Nukane, Shizangake, Aksha, Wakush Nilakana, 90 Kigahoja Kanjak.
It all seems so obvious to them. Places are linked by a black thread of invisible thought. Gold is linked to a luna, it never decays. But what's that to us? We arranged a meeting with a world-renowned astronomer to see if the Coggy picture of the universe can make sense as science.
I'd like to begin by asking the Kogi view of the world, how large it is and its form.
Ne. Ikhana yak mukwe. Nahi ikibenga. I hat him hameshgutuka. Se. Havas hatese. Arlegets hatese. Nigchiga havase.
Their picture of the universe is never going to be yours.
No, because I have seen things that they couldn't possibly imagine.
But then what you talk about are things that the rest of the normal human race can't imagine.
It's not that complicated.
Well, I hear the words dark energy.
Ah, well, dark energy is a recent discovery.
When you say dark energy, what are you talking about?
It's a property probably of space that we haven't yet understood, that makes the universe accelerate. And it's a mystery at the moment.
But it fills all space?
It fills all space. It could take another 100 years before we really finally understand what's going on.
iku kagune ay hay kaga akawa magwe iku kagune amma hay hatan yatain ka sakha zumaya amma iku kana nasan hay eswama hatan kwa ku chi wa kama gatsha zumaya amma cheku enyeki agunga zega.
And these nodes are intersections with the material world and the darkness, is that right? I'm trying to understand whether the Kogi can grasp the idea of learning something new from an instrument like a telescope, the concept of discovery.
I think that their notion of acquiring knowledge is the opposite of ours. I think our notion is that each generation knows more than the one before. And theirs is that each generation knows less than the one before.
No sangwez na kaya sinanalji to ay jiktsina chapana itungwa sangze na hizna kahikine tungwa sangze saka eka ay makia tawa khan hagitung ay gwasangze nugne chinilakana henki na hiki hiki na koy ne agnas ki tung hana henni iki hata hen chik kiyana abahana na qal henni alunji iki ne ma hiki ne nazanguz na tung wasungze.
Here he is in London learning completely new things that he couldn't possibly have imagined in his village. Most people would say that experience changes you, maybe irreversibly. But I don't get that impression looking at the Mama. I get the impression that he has a vision and his purpose is to tell us that vision, and that's why he's here. What we see through the telescope, so this is a picture of a small part of the sky, and what we see is lots of systems of stars that we couldn't see without the telescope.
And then let's see him.
That's a star, yeah. That is one star by itself. Mama has found the one star in this, a single isolated star in this picture straight away.
That's
right.
But we cannot see it.
Why couldn't we learn from them?
Ai Fransai akhjuqaiga iquadinga nangulita ai parecerente akhjuqaiga iquadinga nangulita.
The Mamas set out to trace a black line along the shore, joining specific sites by the mouths of the rivers. These, they say, connect directly with locations on the mountain and are where they used to do their work, before the modern world took over and changed things.
Nuk nature haba hate to hate.
The sites may have been destroyed, but that's the point of the journey. The gold thread will be laid. The hidden line will be revealed.
Zunkagaykun kanana ay swama sulbaka heka gazabika hukumaji nabguji wanuka swama nauka heka fakakuka nekaiga ki hanye enyaga guga kunalaksa kukia pega pana hanye e nuksuzwa ekiga hen ijbe gazabika.
Eswama means place of authority. The Kogi believe that's how nature operates. Eswamas in the mountain have direct linkage to places on the shore. The Kogi told me before about token objects they exchanged between the mountain and the shore, but I'd thought this was symbolic.
Nasahai Nibakaja Noxus Gapeka Zabi Habahanga Kasaga Aluna Shudamas Kawashi Gun Peka Zabi Gun. Nasigiki Eni Sugi is also no Chaka Eni Shulamana Jigon Negateka Loka. Sigiki Nas Ekinana Sugi is a few layer Kaloka.
Hika hinga aluna hangote hika zingaju nuka hangote.
Mixing the burned, crushed shells with water produces lime. That makes a paste in their mouths that Kogi men say connects them to the source of life. That paste is rubbed off the stick onto the top of the sugi.
Nogana Twajawa, the Swinuka a begetek logacheke, Aduna any Shudamaga going. Nogana Twai, the Sukaluka, Kaltamba a go take church Shulama Kalte, Akajuka go take a luka.
Any a nugnais on coin a sugi. Are they chasing kill Nokshi. Gochekika nuka wakwadika kuka zuka achakwadika kuka hamijige bazingaji nukachi nokshi
I kiss one cut. Ah,
we have a no gun.
I have a Kamata window again.
Mailin lakin alguan. Doba koje kolguan Washington. Hade yow katsabi khanane. Ne hina naji kayaki. Maila kashengopana, akipana, nuk. Ton akuchake, ne kanapana guha.
Nasmin gaki hiya bega tsena mene am
Akuna gatsake tay Jones gabi chakay.
Amakhina kiga sabchaka miaje sadi no khaton kwanki mako verde ki
أي نامغ ندجامغ جئنكا أي أما هناشامغ نقه أجي قوامغ نقه فوا إنزنقه أي سنهانقونا نايقنا لكي أين نغنا أين أما قويشكوا فقا إنزنقه تشيننا نلقاني أقا إنكي هيكي ني أقو غين أقا ني نلقاني توكي.
Why they want younger brother to see this? What is the point? What do you think younger brother will... How will this change younger brother? I don't understand.
فقوشي أي أمبوغانا دنكي تو أي كيغت أي كي أكوجي أتشيغك تو أي غيابش غبيني غبانو نيني قيغي كيغت هكي شاكو خغب قلغا أغمينغا كي ناني أدنيا دا تونشانغا زنغا تسقي أي نو سيجينغا نينا ويهابا ني غواقوامكشي أي كيغت أي كي أكو خغا غواقو ديجيني كي ساكي كودا خوازيق أيجي أو خازيق وا شي نلقانا هنغوينا تونشانغوان كدا.
I just can't see that what happens to one specific site is echoed in another miles away. But the mamas say understanding that is the key to healing the world. Dr. Camilo, you have been working as a doctor in the Sierra for many years. You have got to know the Kogi very well. You've learned a good deal about them, I think.
Desde hace unos 35 años.
Are there things that you have seen a mama or mamas do that you have thought only a mama could do that?
Sí. Por ejemplo, hay un ejemplo que es la cuenca del río Huachaca, que fue una cuenca que fue deforestada por los cultivos ilícitos, después la ganadería se acabó prácticamente, hasta que se las entregaron al cuidado de los indígenas. Y no hace mucho, eso hace 20 años. Hoy en día, caminar uno en esa cuenca es una cosa completamente diferente a como era en ese entonces, que eran potreros, los ríos secándose. Hoy en día son bosques, animales otra vez hay en cantidad, el agua. Son cosas sorprendentes. El problema es que no son consecuencias inmediatas.
Jacinto, what is the plan for today's filming? What do you want to do?
Si vamos allá en ese sitio, los mamos van a estar conectados con los sitios sagrados de la parte alta.
I'm sure all this is very interesting for you. I thought that we were the Kogi wanted to explain that the world is dying because of our actions, and they wanted to make this plain and clear at certain sites along the Black Line. So far, I have seen nothing to indicate that the world is suffering or the world is dying. I have seen nothing to indicate that what happens at these places on the Black Line has anything to do with the health of the world.
Y entonces de pronto ahora yo les voy a decir a ellos que cada uno ponga su yatco para consultar, porque esa es la acción que tenemos que demostrar que sí, verdaderamente tenemos conexión con la naturaleza.
I agree that it would be a good idea for the mamas to consult and think more about what they're doing and consider how they communicate with us, because they need to show to us that they actually do have something to say. To show that places on the coast are connected to places higher up and directly affect them, we really have to go up the mountain and see the connection.
The lakes that are found high in the mountains are linked to the sea. Bubbles appear in the water, and the bubbles make the connection. That is how we communicate with the lakes and the sea, and with the mother. The waters speak.
The waters speak.
إنكني خرجش أنا هي في نادي خنا يجي أمك بناتهم خبوزيخ هي نمي هو الموجي قبا أبانو خاودين كوزيخنا أبانو خاودين كوزيخنا نلقى لي نقق هيجا كوي أعلن تقولنا هذا قطو بله هي كيزنا كوينكي وناني كوي يلقى يابزن كوا خزيخا أي هيكي تاجي زنا كون توا نلقى لي نق هاي أما قبيك إيتي نوني ناني توا لو جياكو توا كنو خا أبايان كوي هبا هانكو كو نامان جا أي أوان يخبين نقول نامان جا نامان جا نام مولتو موزيكا باش قباش كوا شوي أتشا من قدي يا
I'm sorry, but the bubbles don't speak to us. We have to see the connection with the Niswanan.
Jacinto, ¿qué hay? What is our first possible date for going up the mountain?
Y entonces, última hora, vimos, hay unos grupos ilegales en la Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. Ya saben que van a subir unos grupos de gente extranjera. Entonces es muy peligroso para nosotros.
Right. Obviously, we must cancel. We can't take the risk of going anywhere dangerous. How long will it take him to get up there, find things out, come back down again?
We dare not fly up the mountain, even though we have a helicopter for the day.
أنا لقل أغزان لجين خيجا أهانقون خيجا لجاشا أكينا إنكي أغزي منكي ميو يا بزنكي كوكا قواكو يبني
ويا خوا صاروا كلهم ويا خوا إنشي أيزوا كيبو مين اللاتي نغنى تسانكلا مولاتاتشي إيزاتشي مقالاتشي لاكوتشي أي ويا خوا زاجمي أي أغات نهنجين غاكي تدوى بعدين شو هنا وتنو وشكتو كتو زي خزيقاي جيانغوا كي وكودو كي انكي زاجمتشي
The indigenous tribes are so alarmed that they walked for days from communities on the world's highest coastal mountain to reach this site on the shore. Developers have dug a trench to drain the lagoons here, mangrove swamps teeming with life. The construction company says that building a port here is necessary for Colombia's growing mining industry and will create 5,000 new jobs.
Es un plano del esquema de ordenamiento territorial del municipio de Bulla. El sitio que ellos llaman Jucurba está a 12 kilómetros del occidente de esta línea. Aquí no existen zonas de pagamento, no existen comunidades indígenas.
Usted que no conoce, usted que no conoce. Nosotros somos dueños, estamos reclamando. ¿Y qué hace tú?
Bueno, bueno.
De años, no, de 500 años por allá.
Yo lo respeto inmensamente.
أما هنقول قلت ساينك جازم نخبرك بعد وتشغزنك ني خلاشاني ناخذك مطلشاني ناخذك قاقشة شاني ناخذك نغلا بعد
Hawas gato na kang kami.
Gato na kang walakam.
Kunay na hay kuki.
Ni khawinjen hagle khay ni mama khuzza binga gule gugada khane ni ai hawa khagi sunga ne hi ni atol sham khane appa
Alengo kocha kuku kide.
¿Por qué estamos acá?
Kwai sai si zai wakai nastunga amak izam kwai ikiga kwada ikiga gas kwai ni nak ikiga kanya shan zai liga ba shan zai de kwai zai garna kaya ki nani kwai hanan kwai ku kiya gaw akze ikina laje kaiga hanya izune na dan ni khada ga tanani man ahu khakut mo ko naki ni nafshaqtin ha zak washa naski haykinu khana malaytun sai shi zak akaygi zagasha hayki kaga hay hata koi mayle mijiya huji migaganga kagen mitsigwa ko shija shuija tuwa Nggak saya matu engine ni zabat tu kana hinak siya hinal kana. Okay.
Well, it's a beautiful day down here on the coast of Colombia, and behind me there's the snow visible on the mountain peaks of the Sierra Nevada. And it seems that the gorillas have melted away like snowmen. The army is saying that they'll fly us up. The only problem is, this is the third day we've been waiting for the army helicopter because the weather has been lousy. So, our schedule's fallen apart. We're not at all sure what we're doing or how we continue. We hope that a helicopter is going to turn up today. It looks very good here, but apparently the weather where the helicopter is taking off from isn't so good. So, we'll see what happens.
With nothing else to do, the mamas have time for a Caribbean beach party. But they also consult the bubbles.
Wachakas kaha. Aina. Heka hakibat heka huluniki heka. Mkwai. Ya enga haukatukwa haukajahuka gunai. Nature. Habaga kutuka. Tsakangi hitchi haba.
Mamas have restored the forest upriver, but at the estuaries, professionals are in charge.
Aman, I would like you to explain to the mama what your view is of damage to the river estuaries.
Yo soy biólogo y toda mi vida trabajé con peces de agua dulce. Los ríos sí son como una unidad, pero es una unidad que fluye, que se mueve, pero se mueve en una dirección. Y hay ciertos efectos que son muy claros de arriba a abajo, pero hay otros que son mucho menos claros de abajo a arriba. ¿Por qué? Porque no hay ninguna circunstancia que traslade ese efecto hacia arriba. El efecto hacia abajo es lógico, lo traslada el agua. Entonces, muchas cosas, la erosión, la deforestación, las partes altas, tienen efectos sobre las partes bajas, pero lo contrario no es muy evidente. Es más, no es evidente desde un punto de vista.
Ai não tinha anos que o que gachaça e que to ni ka não que é kaga wa hajapanai wa kajanya medigan ai satchali na kanamado he vamos aqui a vem gamigan mede akhbam guchan cheikh zaqi.
Bueno, pero no explicó en qué forma ocurre. Es decir, la conexión de las lagunas de arriba a las de abajo es obvia. El agua corre hacia abajo y el agua lleva cosas. Pero, ¿qué lleva las cosas de vuelta de las lagunas de abajo a las de arriba?
Bueno, fue sin que van, fue hay que viajana, hay que guanana, viajana, como de tu casa no na. Una gente es Messi. Saki nazi nadaki. Mi hanzi geiga. Ni khala zegu mi hanzi ni hanki hay huyaq dokta. Mi hanzi zeni hanki ni hay alen tunkaki mi hanzi jini ni zabi khatochak hay haba kijuqa huya khawa shenta abuje baqa abuje gatsay ijogen. Hay ni hanki hay sopak panu kani hanki atami mi hanka geiga khageiga shakha haba kijuqa kaiga hayne alen. Kaiga abuga no ka ginichi na dini ke hay ki mijel no khanak boni no ge ka hui guga ka gitin gai mi ka hui je kabaka hui ji tuba gitin go gucha zengar de gejak
ne de geles na ngwak nas ekhna z tunsh ekh ma tunsh nich zela jag on 그거 시부다마가 풀자마. 그저 마시기 나선 아이 그거 자해 증가하나 저 사이누까 아이 칼다 고이자 차키 무지가 자자 두다샤키 이제 무지가 hin
신앙 날진 하이 사이주에 아이 hensa 해카 니보에 자지웨 هي خيشان نقاع هي خيشان نقاع هي تشي سانكدا إنهم كانوا يتجسقى أي سوبر باكوي أبا نيسوني أتدرب بعدين شو أبا نيسوني نغنا هنيو تشهابا نغبتنق هي جيجوتشي Ngwenye kumpanya kasra kiakwa eka hukulu kiakwa wango tohanki yahe iza eka bukhani chakaba hani suni sopa haya bakwe ni watema bakwe haba hanan dula shika bakwa de fangas hani kaman ni aksha ngwe hani ka kangwa alang bedegele hen mi ben ko kahnya bocek sema to hen ang nay kami ben ko ahi habak agi sa panan ba wen kana hen mayan yi khan ay nay hatan yaraksu ha ni khan gunan ni khamane ya hen ki alusani ne hen henan alusani ne henan asenjine zananak asenjine kanan gojeznak ya bocah hianat ini hin panane bocah hikiga ay gang bocah nakwale
وخماي نانيكي قولما دولجيش ميتشيخ ناسنكي هانيوبانا دولجيش خاتشيخ نوغانا هاي قيقب قاي باي نوغ يتشيق لقاكي هانيوغان خاتشيخ شولاما ايني هابانا دولجيش شيهي خلوق
gunene hina nazi miluka akaitua iskwajina kalkane hina nazi sinazi kana hina nazi lakaiki chunagze gunene kagama ilis aki imami kwaji to hakina gozi chunagze
habas nigi la khayba kishenkina chak nigi zakhiya la yana ko khassa nagi وجدين أتوقع تكون كم وتقعد دوجي خلوه خلنا ناس أوكي نعم كم وخا سنتش بتاعها هي نوي كيما زي أكل شيء كم خديجة خليك يا بس أبغى خليك
يجيلو كنان نوقعنا أي سوما ساي نغني وقهنا نازل كنا ذاك هاي هي إنا خلينا هينا خلينا أي كي يجوا خليكوا هي ناخذ أي خلقة إين دولاشين خلقة إيخا سنيجا خلقة أرواتش خلقة نوي هو نوقة أي خطة هاي مياغاتي دولاش تغي خطة دولاشا نجني خليقة نقصوزة أولك هاي نجي كوكوا هذا هاني هنا هو اسكو خجاء أي خجاء
ساكي أي ميجي بيكون لكي ai zukabala zigana uni hubeleti mawulde migabiak ave nuqama quziraki huzi mayate piaba migabiapana shqagakwe aini magazahecha gupanehan aizwa luna muleto piaba migabaina khasa huwa ztana ainuha ijigztu azhaita wakwe ay khazhaita makochiga ganuha uni zitu guchiga kai guinoi chengsha shibala manakusha guin wakwa uni zitu ngwasinze Eikimi halige togechiga gakwa aituhin jawa zana na miga hongo jini ni aiga ma hauhajiraya na lagale sai mon taize ga chigarna ni kha miya tune na jaka aina hau ay khatoni ma hulok sha gwe khanki sai kugwa sa khanga ba sumimi ga hongo jiniki miawati eni mabe ay kimi khalaishi eni joshinga magaza khacha goto gochigarna ya ga ko isabi makodira yaga tiya nawa jawa hayni kuhazi mnuqama kodini jini na hubadaji magaza khacha goto gako aini jini ay hubadaji nagazakhacha gogale nale aini jini askaita wala charzna kanuse maninga nistunku naglegaki uba abu chigabanga uba najishanu kha na gochiga aikigo to gochiga achaganu mama hai na yatai nuka tungo jugaina le inki hi kiga tsine ngwe kha nan kapana chiga saki jini inki makako ine ubangna kan naglei
Well, this is the third night of our 2-day visit to the Siswama. We're not quite sure why we're still here. We needed to move on, and to do that, we needed mules and a helicopter. Mules to carry food and baggage, and a helicopter to carry the camera equipment. We got the mules. We didn't get the helicopter, and we don't know why. We have satellite phones, but they're not really working. All that we can do is receive text messages.
Why does your phone say it's 1728? Have you noticed that?
And so far, we have had 2. We believe they come from somewhere in the 21st century, but they are a bit mysterious. We got a text message this morning which said that the helicopter was about to take off. That was at 8:30 this morning. We waited, and we're still waiting. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
ahang nazun kajo na salguan washin ko hen wabi kwai nabulo enye ki mun shinga ungu kalga mureto gay hak ya muchi joni nesum kanak tsurgon. To sai matu. Enye akanga enye akuhangu hana shasha to achipana panangomine hiki zaigarnu. Hene mi hen en tanane en yahbuna ne kizabattu. En tanane en yahbuna ne kizabattu. No, wan. Uche santamanta ay ni atuqa tuhanqa atuqa buqa man yahbuna ne. Hen yahbuna. Neche sankalan wan agata ki kharbeziko. Doy mu koy khaqten wan agata ki kharbeziko. Maktuak, ya sikigu hen to iya ajikane. Harin koyo hato ya. Hay khagaleni ne miyaki khanagem. Ah, hay khatay maglanda. Angna ein kakut katon. Fa khadi hay ajik panna ustige kana fangato bana he. Khadi na leji ne hay ni fakun kan no aban khasha dag wato bal. Ya. No. Ana ko yung wa.
The Kogi say that damage at the bottom of the rivers, at the river mouths, affects the system up here. Do you believe that?
No creo, sé, porque todo lo que puedes hacer a un ecosistema arriba afecta el funcionamiento de abajo, y lo que funciona abajo también, como están actuando, afecta el funcionamiento de arriba. En este lago está cambiando la vegetación. Han sembrado especies de otros países, eucaliptos, cipreses, alrededor de la laguna. Esta vegetación evapora rápidamente el agua y afecta y compite con las especies de niebla. Estas nubes que llegan de las vertientes enfrían el agua y la condensan y escurre por los troncos y se acumulan en las rocas. Estas rocas son rocas madre, rocas de arenas que acumulan el agua como una esponja y sueltan esa agua abajo en las vertientes. Vemos que no solamente los ríos son entes muertos, son entes que están relacionándose con la fauna, con las aves, todo el proceso de dispersión de semillas, por ejemplo, se da de arriba abajo y de abajo arriba. También todo el tema de algunas especies que no sabemos por qué se encuentran arriba, como por ejemplo peces en las zonas de lagunas. Muchas veces se ha visto por trabajos que están asociados a migraciones de aves que llevan huevos de pescados en sus alas. Es por eso que en muchos países, por ejemplo como España, estas teorías han cambiado la forma de funcionar. Especialmente se están desarrollando trabajos para descanalizar los ríos que han sido canalizados en las partes bajas para mejorar el funcionamiento de los acuíferos en las partes altas.
It was beginning to fit together, and we'd had some good news. A world leader in marine biology had actually arrived on the coast to look at the sites and meet the mummers.
Well, one of the things that I'm very interested in is the way in which the Kogi view the natural world.
The Kogi talk in quite a mystical way about the connections between the sea, the rivers, the lakes, the land. I can't see how that makes sense to a scientist.
Well, it makes a huge amount of sense, particularly here on the northern coast of Colombia. The Kogi talk about threads between these systems. Effectively, those systems really are very strongly connected. All along this coast, the development has disrupted the flow of water from the land towards the sea. And this has caused big problems in the whole area. Because of the very high evaporation caused by the heat, you end up with very large quantities of salt in the ground, which often kills the vegetation. Along this stretch of coastline in Colombia, you almost have in microcosm what is happening elsewhere in the Caribbean and also elsewhere on the planet. Their view that all these activities are really having a serious impact at a larger scale are quite right.
Yabe, naz, sugi game hen zablache ni hen ganga no wanga zablache hun weka gatanche kige je kwan. Nga khaga carbon ayo khani je ko. Agna koya pega pan. حاجة ما طاقة حاجة كده قصة يا حبيبي صندوق هنا
A hankali zedecek.
A eso, esta operación hacemos nosotros, andamos vaqueando. Bueno, ya sacamos la olla esta, se le saca la tierra, así.
نقول كزلقوانجا بيستقى زلقوانجا زلقوانجا خقبا هنا كوكيك تهابا إيشا نو خدين آتقون هنينك إكيغا كون نقانا كي قونجين هين قوخا ميلك نوغاك نبقيسا هنتشاق زيغا جاقا قطوان خقبا قواشيكي غينك
Enterradas. Solo para topar una prenda de esas, ahí es que trabajar por lo menos 4, 5, 6 meses para de pronto topar una prenda de esas. Y eso estando muy de buena para toparla. Y si no, no topa nada. Saca por ahí pollitas y otras cosas, pero el oro es trabajoso ya. Pero para ellos sí representa mucho. Porque eso es de los antepasados de ellos. Los legítimos dueños de esas prendas son ellos. No son los particulares. Pero como todo en la vida es trabajo, uno la busca para poder sobrevivir.
ni kamalesh ama maka ma gom de jihi khaba goshi kya bena nagale guttamil qashana wajamil qada enye ki nas tulachik kuki shanga kuki jana ben qahana na.
No, pues yo al mamo le diría que a nosotros pues que nos disculpe.
Ay min waq ay ki waq akoznak akhanke هذا نهي هذا قاجر جي كوالينغا يقصنغا خكو جي كوان نقانا نلقص تواصلنا أقاي ألين شامهنجي إكيها هذا أكونغا قلقنا يتشقطوا ميا جي قيغا جي كولقصان نق ما نجي كو هنغوي قلنا أسبوعنا ميجرنا.
Bueno, para mí, las guacamayas andío es por la destrucción de la naturaleza, que ya ellas no tienen a dónde sobrevivir, no tienen un paradero para llegar. Aquí hay un bosque para llegar, hayan semillas para ellas comer. Para mí es eso. Yo creo que por el asunto de la guaca no.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
Okay, fine. We've just managed to log on to Skype. You can hear us?
Yes, we can hear you, and please send my greetings from the Zoological Society of London.
نرد لما يخشخهم وبعملين قوي وانا انكي صاينا لنغاكي النبا اقن قانا عيني النبا عطي اجيتي نقا قولي نغني قان ناوقا جيكو قميلنا اوقا نقا تلققبا.
In conservation, we have a problem because we tend to conserve an area without much thought to the special places in a geological time scale. So for species, there are areas that are like a refuge, which through geologic time have been extremely important for them to survive. And on the short term, we may remove these areas, and there may be no big effect. But in the long term, through history, the species can't persist when those special zones have disappeared. So in many ways, we're looking for much the same thing, is to understand where exactly these special sites are. We have to better understand connectivity, and right now we have a very basic understanding of how things interact and affect each other. And I believe that this is essential for our future security, to understand these special sites, to ensure that they're conserved.
Jonathan,
yes.
I want to try moving the computer to another location while we continue talking, if that's all right. See if it works any better. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine.
The connection seems to be holding, and when I turn the computer around, you may be able to see the dolphins leaping, which are paying attention to this conversation, taking some degree of interest.
Well, it's an important one.
It is very extraordinary to hear that these kind of origin sites that the Indians are talking about make sense to you as well. This won't come as a surprise. It certainly comes as a surprise to me, and I think will come as a surprise to a lot of people.
I don't find it such a surprise, really, though. I mean, people living with nature understand a lot more about it, obviously, than a world that has become much and really disconnected from it. Living with nature, you realize that certain species have certain strongholds or certain refuge areas that are essential to them. They're telling us something from their experience, which we should easily recognize, but for some reason we find it very difficult. And I think it's very important to have that message. And they're the ones that are going to know these particular areas in the forest that will be important for the long-term survival of species. So I think we have much to learn from them.
The final estuary, the final place to lay the thread, Cienega Grande, the Great Lagoon.
Pakwana, Uchakina Mkwai, Dia Hashapanane, Ahanki Aya de Gada, Hekamaya den Kanane, Uchaka, and Suvel Kazi Pakwana and Kanye.
I think this really illustrates the Kogi concept of threads between different parts of this ecosystem.
Okay.
Kasa kajini shulama shi sai kajini zan kawashe gun. Gunin ne kai ga haba haitu na kuce kanate. Nogana kai ga jiyo haitu na gunkal.
Gold does not decay.
Does not decay. Eswamas were dressed in gold.
Eswamas were dressed in gold. Now it is wealth.
Now it is wealth, and has all been plundered. This was the material bridge to life, vitalizing the water. The Eswamas are stripped. The water dries out. How will we live?
I thought the journey was over. But now the mummers took over the filming, simply saying that without hope, all this would be pointless.
Aglaya gatse, santama tagwani ay zubagi kaya ay na magwanga, aduk kanaduk kangwakwe. Nis kaka nau kagwang na hangwakwe ga eka kalga, naguna na may hanki. Azkaitaki nadaki ikiga bakalga wonga
I thought this was the mummers' journey, and I would film what happened to them. But in fact, they were taking me on a journey. they see a possibility of hope if we listen.
She